Welcome for the today session of online class of organization behavior. As we discussed yesterday in our previous class about the independent variable of OB model, which are affecting directly itself on the behavior of the employees within the organizations, or entirely on the discipline of the organization within the society. And then later on we discuss the different theories and the different models and the different researchers who have already conducted study, different type of study toward the organization behavior within a specific geographical environment. If you do remember, in our previous class, at the end of the class, we said that the researchers has conducted different studies toward the organization behavior. So out of that, we said that one was the 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 Myers Brigg type of indicator, and the second one was that the Big Five model, the Big Five study toward the organization behavior. So today we will be continuing with the first researcher theories, or the first approaches, or the first studies, which is conducted toward the organization behavior by the name of the Meyer Brigg type indicators. So let's find it out. What do we have under this type of research study, which is being conducted toward the organization behavior, or behavior of the people within the within the organizations, or other things. So here, this theory or this research says that the Meyer-Brigg type indicator, or by the name of MBTI, which is also known by the name of MBTI, is the approach or personality assessment instrument which is widely used all over the world. This study has been used at each and every countries and each and every organizations for the purpose of understanding or implementing better behavior within the organization. So, or entirely, it says that something about the disciplines, characters, or other attitude, perceptions, or personality of the employees toward the organizations, or organization toward the employees at global level. So this is one of the important the study conducted toward the organization behavior, or this is could be considered as an instrument which is particularly focusing on the personality of the people within the society, or particularly if you talk about the business area, the personality of the employees within the organization. So let's find it out better or more about this study. This approach is 100 questions personality test by test which ask the people that how they feel and act in a different situation. Dear students, this Meyer Brigg is one of the scientists who have conducted this service through making of, or through preparing of 100 types of questions related to the personality, and have been asked from the different people toward that when and how they will be acting at the different situations. If the situation is stress, if the situation is crucial, if the situation is satisfied or unsatisfied, relevant to these all things, they have asked the questions, and they got some of the report which we are going to discuss it. So this study, or this survey, or this research which is done by the Meyer Brigg was the combination of 100 questions which were asked by the different people toward the different situations. Then on the basis of their answers, the people classified into these particular categories. This researchers has given us the below mentioned categories of the behavior of the organization. The first one is extroverted, the second one is introverted, or if you can say that as a one category which has similarity to each other, or you could say that extroverted and controverted, or introverted, excuse me, and the second one is sensing or intuitive, and the third one is thinking or feeling, and the fourth one is judging or perceiving. So this the output of the the final result or output of this research or this study is this 4 5 categories of the the answer which they have got from the different people at the different situation. The first one is extroverted and introverted and sensing and intuitive, and the third one is thinking and feeling, and the fourth one is judging or perceiving. So these are the relevant things which are going to be act or which are going to be performed by the people within the society, particularly in the global business area. These are the things which are going to be performed or act by the employees within the organization. So for the purpose of better understanding of this research theory, let's discuss one by one. Yeah, let's discuss the first one. What do you mean by extroverted or introverted under the this study? Extroverted or individuals, sociable, outgoing and assertive ones, while introverted or quiet and shy people or individuals. The students, after the analysis of this survey which is done by this myer brigg, so they have understood that within the organization or within the society, some of the people are very social or civilized people, dynamic people or dynamic employees, or they are very ongoing or outgoing people. It means that they are very performable employees and assertive. All right, sociable civilized people, and then outgoing people and assertive people. It means they are too much interested toward doing some things. All right, they are very dynamic people, they are very dynamic employees in order to perform tasks within the organization. If you talk about the society, they are very interconnected and they are very smart people. They are very the enthusiastic people, socialized civilized people within the community and within the business organization, whereas the introverted people are shiny and they are quiet, they're simple, they are not smart, and they are very shy in order to perform a task or in order to live within the community. This was the first category. And the second category under this research study is that this category of the people or individuals are sensing or intuitive. Let's see what do we mean by this. Sensing individuals are practical and they prefer order and routine, while intuitive people are no people or individual rely on it, rely on unconscious process and look at the big pictures. Particularly this category of the individuals or people are the first thing is sensing people or individuals are looking behind the practically they are doing rather than theory aspects of that or orally. They are practical in natures, they are dynamic, they are moving always, and they are doing practically some things, and they are always accepting the order from the manager, from the top level of the authorities, and doing that particular task. They are not some things like they are just constant and they are not doing the task. Once they get the order of the routine or monthly or daily base, and they are going to do that particularly and show and determine themselves as a practically they are doing that work. But intuitive people rely on unconscious process and look at the bigger pictures. There are some things like they are not performing practically, but they are just waiting and they are looking at the bigger picture. Or big pictures is mean that in the future they might do that one. If you medically or psychologically go through this portion, so there are some people conscious and there are some people unconscious people. So conscious people are very liable toward doing the work practically, and they are accepting the routine orders and doing that particular work. But unconscious people are they are not smart in mind, they are not enthusiastics, and they are just unconsciously looking to do that particular task in a future within the organization. And the third category is thinking or feeling. Under this research study, some of the individuals or some of the people within the society are thinker and some of them are feeler, like feeling something. So let's see what do we have here. Thinking means people who use logic and reason, while feeling ones are those who rely on emotions. Exactly, dear students, if you focus on the society or within business environment or within the business organizations, some people are they are thinking behind doing some things apart from the task which has been given to them. Extra thinking is there. They are just using their mind for the purpose of doing that work in a better way, or for the purpose of maintaining discipline or characteristics in the organizations in a better way. They are more characterized people. They are using their brain, they are using their logic or reasons behind that particular task which has been assigned to them. Or if you talk about the society, there are some categories of the individuals who are always using their brain. They are very smart in nature in their brain, and they are always doing communication based on the logic and reason. Unnecessary or informal communications or characters has not been used. But if you talk about the feeling, they are just using their emotions. They are sensitive toward the emotions. They are using their inner emotions while talking, while maintaining characteristics, or while maintaining the other discipline within the organization, or exactly within the society. Excuse me. Also, some of the people or individuals are available who are always following their emotion toward communicating with the people, toward doing tasks within the organization, or toward being in a society. They are always emotional in nature. And the last category under this research study or approach is that judging or perceiving. So judging is something where we are just judging toward in a case, or toward in a doing a task. Or perceiving is something we are just realizing that one, understanding that. Let's see what do we have. Judging means that those ones who want to control, while perceiving means those who are flexible and spontaneous. These students, if you observe some of the personality or some of the people or individual, few of them are very sensitive, and they are trying to control their self within the organization. If you talk about the emotions, they are trying to control their emotion. If you talk about the task or assignment or duties and responsibility which has been assigned to that particular employee within the organization, apart from performing that, there might be something where he or she might be dissatisfied from the work, or maybe he or she is satisfied from the work, but meanwhile he or she is going to control. He or she is working on how to perform better, how to remove some of the negative things from the body, from the mind, or from the characteristics. They are just control in nature. They are trying to control it, different aspects of the characteristics or body of that particular individual. While perceiving is some people who are flexible in nature. Spontaneous means that they are adjusting in each and every environment. They are not thinker or feeler, or they are not emotional in natures, and they are not judging her or herself. Apart from these all things, he or she is just flexible. He or she is going to be adjusted, and to be settled out at each and every environment of the organization. It means that he or she is going to be adjusted toward the policies and plans, strategies of the organization within the work environment. And if you talk about the society, he or she is going to be adjusted at each and every situation of the society or country. So related to this study which has been done by the Myers-Brigg, they believe that, and they have studied that attitude is also one of the important aspects of the organization behavior. So let's discuss what do you mean by attitudes. As we discussed in our regular class also little bit about the attitude, so here we will be considering more about the attitude. What do you mean by attitude? So attitude is means the behavior on workplace, and attitude or evaluated statement which can favorable or unfavorable that concern or judge people about the people, objectives and events. Or we can say attitude reflects of shows that how we feel about some things. Attitude is basically something when an individual is going to think about something, or what is the thought level of someone toward some things. That is called as attitude. Within the business organization, the attitude could be, some of the attitudes are favorable and some of the attitudes are unfavorable. If you particularly go for the divisions, so you could say that some of the attitudes are positive and some of the attitudes are negative toward, judging of the people. So attitude is also one of the important things and very significant things of the, organization behavior or the behavior of an individual within the society or within the business organization. So here, for the purpose of better understanding, we do have three aspects or three determinants or the three, components of the attitudes. The attitude could be the combination of these three, three aspects or three determinants. So basically there are three determinants or components of the attitudes. The first one is cognitive components. It means that اجزای شناختی که از طریق شناختی ما میتونیم که اتیتود یک کسی را چیز کنیم انالایز کنیم. And the second one is affective components. تاثیرات بعضی از چیزها هم میتونن که اتیتودز را چیز کنن مشخص کنن. And the last one is behavioral components. So the attitude is the combination of these three things: cognitive components, affective components, and behavioral components. So overall these three components are available. For the purpose of better understanding, let's discuss one by one. The first components or the first determinants or the first aspects of the attitude is that cognitive components. Cognitive means that basically with the help of familiarization, with the help of shinakhti, how much familiarization do we have about something, that is called as cognitive, which determine the attitude of someone. Cognitive components are those which are related with the mental ability or capability, or we can say that these are those components which are related with mind, or we can say that that the belief or opinion part or segments of attitude is called as cognitive. As I said before, that how long we do have familiarization with some things, that is called as cognitive. So cognitive always determine such kind of behavior of the people where it shows the capacity or the ability. What type of ability and capacity? Mental ability and capacity, the strongness, the boldness of the mind, the theoretical and practical knowledge which someone has in their mind, that is called as cognitive components of the attitude. So for example, they say my pay or my salary is low. So we could say that my pay or my salary is low. It means that this is something like inner mind understanding of an individual toward the job or being as an employee of an organization. Each and every organization may be thinking that either my pay or my salary or my compensation is good or not good, or the task which I am going to do every day, based on that my attitude or my ability or capability of the mind is at which level. Some of the people are very strong and bold in mind, and they are always thinking about the different aspects of the job within the organization. The second one is affective components of attitudes. Affective components are those which are related with the emotion and feelings. So if you focus here, this one is here, this one is like related to this portion or this aspects or category of the the behavior, organization behavior, which has been given by Myers. So they says that here, so this component says that some aspects of the minds are related to the emotion or feeling of someone. Sometimes people are very emotional in nature. It means that their affective attitude is available. When some people are emotional and they do have feeling about some things within the organization or outside of the organization, if you talk about the community, it means that their attitude level is at which they are affective components of the attitude. Or we can say that the emotional part or segments of the attitude is called affective components. طوری که پیشتر ما شما گفتیم، اگر یگان اندیویژوال یا بخش از افراد داخل یک اجتماع یا business organization چی هستن؟ ایموشنال چیز می باشن، ایموشنال می باشن. یعنی اینیا ایموشنالیتیشان ما میگیم که یکی از اجزای چی می باشن؟ اجزای افکتیو کامپوننتس می باشن. For example, I am sad over how little I am paid. So if within the organization their composition is very low, so they are going to be emotional, so that determine their attitude level is affective. Their attitude components is what? Affective. And the last one is that behavioral components of the attitude. Some of the people, rather than to be emotional or rather than to think about the some things or some about the pay of the organization, about the other aspects of the organization, about the policies and strategy of the organization, they are maintaining discipline with respect to these all things which are happening within an organization, but still they are maintaining discipline characteristics as per their as per their behavior or norms, or naturally how they are built. Based on that, their mind has been set it. Once we say mind, that means that their attitude has been set it. So let's read it out. Behavioral components are those which include the intention to behave in a certain or particular way toward someone or something. Exactly, do you see some people, rather than to be emotional, rather than to be thinking in nature or feeling in nature, they are just analyzing the situation. Based on that situation, they are what they are maintaining behavior. It's mean that their mind or psycho level or mind, the capacity of mind, the capability of the mind has been set it like that. Such people are acting and reacting in a such a way where they are analyzing the situation, and based on that situations they are going to act or they are going to do some things within that specific environment and specific situations. For example, I am sad over little I am paid, how little I am paid, so I am going to look for another job that pay better. Alright, it is something like solutive in nature. They are finding better solutions, they are taking better decisions rather than to be emotional or rather than to be thinking. It's mean that this is one part or one component of their mind. The mind or the attitude has been set it like that, so that's why they are behaving this, they are categorized in a such of the components. So it is important to mention that the above all three components are related with each others. Obviously, the students, the mind is not going to be in a one parts. The mind could be divided into three parts, or the attitude could be into three parts. The first one is behavioral, the first one is cognitive, and the second one is affective, and the third one is behavior. For the purpose of better understanding, let me just say something like about the mind of the people are divided into three parts. The first one is conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So with respect to this point, so the components of the attitude of the individuals are three. So first component is cognitive, whereas it says that something about the mental ability or capacity of the someone, how he or she is going to act towards some of the incidents or some of the event within the business organization. And some of them are affective, which means that their emotion and feeling is based on their emotion and feeling, they are going to act and react toward the task or an event within the organization. And some of them are based on the situations and environment, and based on the conditions, they are going to act and react towards some incidents, towards some task within the business organization. Thank you so much. We will be continuing with the remaining of course policy in our next online class. God bless you. Take care.